We're one of the very few concert venues in Midland, Odessa. As someone that attends a lot of concerts, there's been some music venues that I've gone to where I was like, wow, their staff was amazing. Or wow, even though I had to wait 30 minutes in line, when I got to the front, she was so nice and, made sure my drink was right and everything. And then there's been other times where I've attended different music venues and I was like, gosh, I got up there and she was rude or, whatever it was. And I think people remember how they're treated at your venue specifically. And so for us, that's something that we really wanted to focus on. And we said, hey, how can we make our concert venue better in all areas?
All right, Sean, Ariel, thanks again for coming in today.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate your time. The wildly successful co-owners of the Tailgate here in Midland, Texas. I want to hear from you guys the original concept of the Tailgate, because I feel like there's been a little bit of an evolution over the past 3 years. So what was the original concept?
The original concept was a little bit more hands-off. The original idea was just a food truck park. We were just going to lease spots to food trucks and have turf, picnic tables, and a video wall out there to show the football games. Quickly realized that we needed to do a whole lot more than that to kind of make this business model work. So that's why we came up with the idea of putting in a stage so that we could do bigger events, do concerts, festival type events. So yeah, it definitely grew from a much smaller idea into something that takes up pretty much all of our time now.
Okay, and so just so I'm clear, just so the people out there know that don't know the Tailgate, don't live in Midland, Texas, it's an outdoor entertainment venue. I think these days I would probably categorize it as a live music venue, probably first and foremost.
Yes.
Is that right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Because I feel like you guys concert after concert after event after event. But let me go back to the food truck park side of like whose idea was that? Where did that spawn from?
Yeah, I think, to give you some backstory, Sean and I met in 2018 through Sean's wife, and we worked in oil and gas together. We have a oil and gas company, and we worked well together on that. And Sean is the idea guy, and I am the executor. So Sean came up with the concept for the Tailgate and convinced me to move from Austin to Midland, Texas. So that was
Best
about
move of her life.
3 years ago.
Okay.
She loves every day.
And I think that's kind of how it started off. And originally, like you said, it was supposed to be a food truck park, and there was going to be a lot less to manage. And I thought that I would be able to do it. And it turned into a whole lot more. So that's kind of how it started.
And so was this, Sean, are you from Midland?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So was this from just the aspect of like more things to do for the people in Midland and families?
Yeah, definitely. I'm from here. That's always been the same, is there's nothing to do in Midland. Everybody leaves for every 3-day holiday, 4th of July, Labor Day. Everybody goes to the lake. Nobody wants to stick around and do stuff here. So we just thought it was a perfect opportunity to, try to give families something to do on the weekends. And so we just kind of went for it.
So you say now it's a full-time job. So were you both just like going like, was it, for lack of a better term, was this kind of like, oh, this could be a cool side hustle type of thing to your already existing 9 to 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually still in oil and gas. So we're petroleum landmen. We do that full time. And Tailgate was supposed to be on the side.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
What's the percentage now in three years? Like, is it 60% of your time? Is it more? Is it?
I would say 100% of our.
It's 100% of your time. Okay. Wow.
No, it's I think that's kind of been the thing is it started off as such a small idea, and the more it kept growing, the more our staff grew and the more our team grew and the more the ideas grew. And so I think, we've just had to pivot our way through this entire past few years. So that's been a huge, huge part of it.
So nowadays, again, I'm going to categorize it as live music venue. knowing that it didn't start like that is what, like, what are the pros and cons, I guess, like, because to having an outdoor venue versus an indoor venue?
I think we've run into a lot of issues, right? A big part of the issue was we have an outdoor music venue and we live in West Texas and the weather is not always on our side. So that has definitely been something we've had to navigate through. Another thing I think, Sean and I suffer from, we were making the joke earlier, but imposter syndrome is really, prevalent. I think it's, can we do this? It's really been a question on our end, at least on my end, for sure. Our third business partner, JD, I think that's something I'll say about Sean and JD. They do really well at. I feel like they just have this we just all three have this blind confidence in each other that we can do it. And that I know Sean can do it and I know JD can do it. And I think that they help lift me up for me to believe that I can do it too. So I think that's really important in our dynamic as business partners, because it's helped us get to where we are now. Because if you had told me 3 years ago that this is what it would have turned into, I think I would have said, no way, I don't know if I can do it, but I think that's helped us so much, is our confidence in each other and our trust in each other. And, it helps us as a team. And so that's something that's definitely helped us. There's going to be problems in every business. And I think we faced a lot of challenges. And I think, it speaks on who we are when we can navigate through these problems and try to do it the best we can and try to make the right decisions. And I think that's what we've tried to do. So, we've had the weather issues, we've had the issues, of us just growing so big so quickly. It comes with a lot of growing pains, and it's just been on how we get through it. So
what's been like the biggest lesson you've learned over the past 3 years from all this?
Oof.
Or if you could go back and do something differently?
I don't know if I would go back and do anything differently, to be honest. I feel like we've grown so much, all three of us, and the Tailgate team as well. I think, the thing that maybe surprised me the most is our staff. We started off our first year, we only had a few, 7 people on staff. And then last year we had 70, 80 people on staff. And this year we've had 130 people on staff. And I think our staff has really surprised us in so many different ways. I think, it sounds cheesy, but they've taught us a lot more than we've probably taught them. And we're growing together, and just to see the loyalty and how much they genuinely care, for us, like, to me, that's the most amazing part, to watch it all to come together, right? To watch it all come together and see how much they did to make it happen. Because it's really not just us, right? Like, Sean and I are sitting here, yes. JD, obviously, we're the three at the top, but we have a huge team under us, and they're the reason that this stuff happens, right? And so it's their ideas and them saying, hey, what if we did it this way? Or I need this to make my life a little easier. Hey, we should build this. And then that helps us. And we're saying, oh, we should do that, right? And then I think once we started figuring out, like, they're the ones that are, in the trenches on the day of the concerts, and they're the ones that are seeing everything that we're not able to see. We started taking their advice and starting doing things that they were wanting us to do. And I think that's helped us get so much farther than we would have ever gotten on our own.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would say that just being able to create a team that is so loyal and that is so, able to execute our vision so perfectly. I think that's just a huge part of this that, really has, I don't think we were anticipating that from the start, and to, build relationships with these people. We see each other every weekend. We're only open on the weekends, right? But, my family comes in town, his family's there. You get to know their families and you get to know their friends. And I think, they, to us, become like family. And so it does feel like that, and being able to see them celebrate our wins as if it's their own has been something that's, irreplaceable to us.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I will, forever be so grateful for. But yeah, I think, do you have anything? to add on that?
Yeah, I think the best lesson I've learned is who you hire.
Yeah.
I think the people in the company make all the difference in the world, because there's, an event business or concert business, there's a million little details, and there's a bunch of different teams you got to interact with the bands, with production. Um, so, having a staff that you don't have to tell them every little thing to do all the time, they just go figure it out on their own. That is, uh, you can't, I mean, that's hard to find, and, it's irreplaceable.
Yeah, I mean,
it's super important.
And it's hard to find people that genuinely care. And, it's one thing, I think that's what we've seen in our staff this past year is we've told them to do something and then they take it 10 steps farther. And it's, I think that phrase, it doesn't get done right unless you do it yourself, is like totally irrelevant to our team. Because I think it's almost the opposite of us telling them, hey, can you help me with this, or can you do this? And they take it and do it so much better. And, you can tell that they genuinely cared and tried to do it, and tried to, impress us by it or whatever it is. I think that that's also a part of it too, is 100% who you hire.
Like, it feels like they're also very invested in the success of it because they enjoy working for y'all. And I don't feel like there's a lot of bosses per se who would take suggestions from employees and go, okay, yeah, that's a great idea, let's try it. Like, you don't hear of that often.
Right.
So good job, guys.
No, I think, part of it is the blind leading the blind.
I mean, I think that's fair, right? It's like, it's one thing if you guys were in this, like, I'll say event production business for the last 20 years or something, right? So it's like, it seems like you're kind of learning as you go, right? And sort of trial and error to an extent. By the way, shout out to JD. Love the dude. Just didn't have enough microphones, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I didn't think he wanted to sit on my lap for an hour.
Okay.
But we love you, JD. So reading the book, Rocket Fuel, it's got that aspect of like the two dynamic people usually in a business or a startup will say, you've got the visionary and you've got the integrator, right? And that's kind of seems like you guys already like mapped that out. Rashawn, sort of like the ideas person and you're the executor. So what is that dynamic like? Like, especially these days, right? Like, what truly goes into creating a live music event of well over 1,000 people at times, right? Like, what goes into that? Like, walk us through some of like the day to day.
Yeah, I would say, to touch on that, that's 100% accurate on Sean and I's relationship. Sean is the idea guy. I am, if you tell me what your idea is, I can figure out a way to make it happen. And so I think, that book is completely relevant to us. But to answer your question, I think the music aspect of it, there's so many details that you don't think about that go into these events. In our there's concerts that are over thousands of people at our events, so obviously it's a lot of moving parts, and something that we care about is how we treat the artist, right? And I think that is truly how we've gotten to where we are now, is because the artists that have come with us from the start, they want to come back because of the way that we treat them and because of the way our team treats them. And we make sure that they are completely taken care of the entire time. And we care about them. So just being able to cultivate those relationships has helped us. They go back and tell their agencies, or they go back and tell their friends. And then all of a sudden we have agencies reaching out to us saying, hey, we want our artists to play at your venue. So that's definitely been helpful in where we've gotten. But I think our day-to-day looks a lot like Sean coming up with these crazy, wild ideas, and then us figuring out which idea actually is going to stick. So
it's me getting rejected 99 times and then, oh, well, that's not a half bad idea.
That sounds like classic visionary, right? You're just going to come up with ideas, good or bad, right? You've got to have a team to kind of figure out like, I don't know if that's going to work, but if you don't, if you don't try, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think, and we agreed from the start on what the purpose was, right? We wanted to bring entertainment to Midlands. We wanted to bring a place for the community to come together. And we wanted a place for families to go. And so, then it kind of just transformed into the music venue idea. And we were able to bring a lot of artists that haven't been to Midlands. And so, even if it's not your favorite artist, we're just trying to bring different artists that different crowds would like, right? And so that's really been the goal. Obviously, Texas country, kind of our bread and butter. We stick to that a majority of the time, but we've brought out some bigger artists. And, I think a big part of that is trying to think outside of the box and say, okay, look, yeah, it's great that some of these artists come to Midland 4 times, 5 times a year, but what about the ones that have never been to Midland?
Mm-hmm.
Or what about, the people that like rock music, or, the people that like the different types of genres. So that's where we've just tried to, say, hey, we have a stage. What can we do on stage? How can we give back? And that's also been a huge part of the Tailgate. We've partnered with a lot of local nonprofits, and we've given a lot of money back. And that's something that's important to us, right? So we're all individually involved in a lot of different nonprofits. I'm on the board for the Special Olympics. And, I think just being able to give back in that way. And we've hosted a lot of benefit concerts, and we've seen, how much awareness and money that has been able to get brought into those things, that's a big part of our why, so that's something that's definitely, a driving force. So I think whenever Sean's coming up with an idea, we just have to say, okay, does this fit what we're trying to do? Do we think that enough people are going to show up to this thing? And how do we think we can make it happen? I think those are the main key factors in it. But we have definitely had to change directions a few times. So
Are there some, like, who's the first, before we got to get into the artist, because now I feel like you've kind of been on a roll with rap artists, which, again, I wouldn't typically think of Midland, Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And T-Pain and Rick Ross and DaBaby and these types of artists. Who's your first artist in sort of the rap world that you were kind of like, maybe we could get this person? And how did that come about?
The hip hop artists they're difficult to get. Mostly because Midland, there's not very many direct flights, and they don't, they're going to come from California or New York. So, they don't want to have to do a layover. So it makes them difficult to get out here. But our partner JD has made a lot of good relationships, and he's made that happen.
He's the connecting factor in this. So, a lot of it is about the relationships that we have with these agencies, but, JD does a really good job of forming relationships with people. And especially, this past year, he's been able to use his connections in our favor where, he's mentioning it to them at a casual setting or, bringing up the Tailgate in some form or fashion. And he's been able to make it happen. And I think a lot of that also is how he's treating the artist too, and so when the artist, feels like they've been taken care of and feels like we genuinely care, they want to come back or they want to tell their friends and they tell their agencies. And so that's really how this has been able to
it truly helps put Midland on the map, right? Yes. As a destination to go, like, because I was, again, I'm from Vegas, right? So it's not hard to get people. Vegas is an entertainment destination, right?
Yeah. Right.
And there's a billion flights a day. So I can see what you're saying, going like, maybe if they were already coming to Dallas or Houston or Austin or something, it's almost like, want to make one more stop in West Texas here.
Right.
But I can see we were kind of headed going like, well, it's a lot of it is just logistics, not necessarily going like, never heard of the place. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you've got a crowd, you've got people that want to show up and have a great time. So
definitely.
It's all
Midland
about
is definitely a routing city. That's how we are able to get most of our artists, whether it's Texas country or hip hop. Is they're going to another show in Dallas, Austin, Houston, somewhere, and they can stop by here on the way there.
That makes a lot of sense. Knowing the shows that you do now, I don't want to continuously harp on this, but I just see this aspect of like, if you were kind of thinking in the beginning, food truck park, I don't know a lot of indoor food truck parks. Right. So that kind of makes sense. It's outdoor just because of the nature of that sort of business. But was there ever a time where you were like, Man, I wish this was an indoor venue.
Every day.
Okay.
Yes, always.
Yeah, I think, gosh, and it's hard, right? We don't own the land. Okay. So when we don't own the land, it's hard for us to build a super nice facility on land we don't own, right? It's
Okay.
just not a good financial decision. So we've had to, again, pivot and figure out, hey, how do we get this out here? How do we, try to enclose this a little bit more? One issue has been sound, right? Like, how do we make the sound not travel as far? There's just been, a lot of issues that come with it being outdoors. And obviously, like, the weather, you'd be surprised. People in Midland, shout out to the people in Midland. They do stand out there in the rain and the winds and the outdoor elements to come to these concerts, which we've been shocked by. But yeah, it's definitely, what do you do? And I think that's the problem too, is once the artist steps foot in Midland, we have to pay the artist either way.
Oh.
So sometimes the show must go on.
Sure.
And, we've luckily been grateful for the artists that have come out, and they've made the best of the weather situation. And there's been days where we had perfect weather and it's been an incredible concert and so many people came out. And then there were concerts that we were like, should we close down?
Yeah.
Should we just completely scrap this idea and go straight inside? And, how do we make this enclosed? I mean, yeah, we battle with that all the time. Obviously, I think our goal is to move locations where we are indoor and we own the land and we have, I think a big part of the tailgate is the outdoor part of it. I think it's so
What's
cool
in the
to go.
name, right?
Yeah,
It's like the
we love to
tailgate.
go to an outdoor concert, and so we still want to keep that aspect of it, but we also want to have a plan B in case it does have, in case we have bad weather and we can move inside. So that's definitely the goal. And that is what we are working on right now, is figuring out how we can get there. Because I think, we weren't expecting this thing to blow up overnight. And I think Midland needed it. And we want to figure out a way to make this a staple in Midlands. And, I think we want to do this for a while. So we want to figure out a way to, have some plan Bs and to have some, different aspects. It's not easy being outside the whole time. And yeah, I think that's our goal.
Well, before we get into future plans, because I definitely want to hear that. And maybe there's some exclusives. Who knows? That could be great. But what are some of your, without playing favorites, like what are some of your personal favorite moments in the past 3 years with?
While you're thinking on yours, I would say for me, I moved away from Austin. I never thought I would leave Austin. And I left my family, and that was the hardest part for me. And so I think being able to enjoy the concerts and the events that we have with my family and showing them like what we've built and just looking around the venue. I mean, it's hard, right? I'm running around. If you see me at Tailgate, I'm normally running around picking up trash, talking to the staff, just figuring out what issue is going on. But I think to take a second and look around at the people who are on their first date or getting engaged that night at the tailgate, or just having an amazing time with their family. I think that's been like the most rewarding part, is to not only enjoy it with my family, which, is special to me, but to see other people enjoying it with their friends and family. I think that's the part that we miss sometimes, because we are so in the moment of, my gosh, we're almost out of ice, or, oh my gosh, this table's broken, or, it seems like at the concerts, there's always something that's, we're having to tend to. But when we just take a second and look at how many people came out to this, or how many people are getting to see their favorite artist on stage, I think that part has been so special. And just to see all of the, friendships that we've been able to form along the way, being able to be a part of this community, being able to give back, and just, for us, we're here to provide for our families, and I think we've gained a lot of family members along the way with our staff. And so that part's been super special to see their lives unfold. We just had employee that worked for us for years, and he went on to the Navy, and we cried when he left, and he just came back last week to see us, and he's getting married, and he's having a baby, and we got to go to the gender reveal, and it's just, these are real people that we love, and we want to be a part of their lives too, even if they're just passing along or if they're here in the long run. But I think that's been really special for me.
I thought your favorite moment was when I had my panic attack.
Sean did have a panic attack the first day we opened.
First day?
Full on panic attack.
Oh no.
Something about Sean, he operates under
very close deadlines.
Very, very close deadlines. So when we had our first concert, he was painting the stage black. He decided to start 5 minutes before the artist got there. So he got it done. And it's like, that's kind of the thing. For me, we're opposites in that way. I'm planned out. I have, a vision. I know how I'm going to get there. I have this whole thing laid out. And Sean operates under stress last minute. And that's just been something I've had to learn because he gets it done. He will get it done. Yeah, I know. I have since then learned, like, I just have to close my eyes and trust the process. But yeah, he's good about getting stuff done very last minute. But it always looks better than we thought it was going to look. So I have to give him that.
It's a visionary mentality. We're on the same page, you and I, Sean.
I will say, like, Sean too, probably won't say this himself, but he built a lot of the things that are out there. So
nice.
He's been the one spearheading a lot of things getting built out there.
Nice.
So a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. But Sean's had a few injuries. Had to get his
those
hands.
Ow.
I was actually supposed to be getting them out right now, but I decided to do this. Yeah,
he needs to get stitches out.
Wow.
Welding.
All right, you're putting it all in there for the business.
So he's out there doing the manual labor most of the time, and it's usually all hands on deck. But I will say that about Sean. But he did have a panic attack the first day we opened, and
that's a great story. You should tell that story. What happened on the very first day?
We had it already posted that we were going to be open, and of course, with construction and everything should have been delayed. But in Sean and I's true fashion, we were like, we're doing it anyways. Let's figure out how we're going to make it happen. And so yeah, Sean and I decided we were going to open this day. The turf was not down. Nothing was finished. And Sean spent 4 days straight, no sleep, Red Bull only, working and finishing everything that needed to be finished. And so when doors opened, venue looked great.
We literally put the last picnic table out on the turf at 11 a.m. when we opened that morning.
And people came rushing. And we were like, oh my God. And it was so exciting, right? Because we were like, we just posted this on the internet, and we were like, hopefully people come. I mean, how do they even know we're here, But people started rushing in, and it was literally like just so many people. We were understaffed. We were like, what the heck? How, it was just crazy. And I turn around, and Sean is nowhere to be found. And
well, this is an hour later. This is an hour after we've opened. And we're supposed to be playing the Texas Texas football game. And for the first day, we hadn't got our video wall yet.
So we were renting
big screen. So we're renting one from this group that sold us on like being this big Vegas production company. Like, oh yeah, we do, $1 million builds and all this. And so this is the second time they've ever used their video wall. And
not a great sign, but okay. Yeah.
So
we didn't have another choice.
Sure.
We were going to play this game. We were promoting this game.
That's a big game.
Yeah.
Huge
and so
game.
they couldn't get it on for the first hour of the football game.
Mm-hmm.
And
but people were patient. People were patient. Everyone stayed. It was still a good turnout. And
they'll give you grace during the event. They might go to some Facebook groups afterwards and next door or something, but that's fair,
Gosh, next door, yeah.
Touchy subject, okay.
So Sean left and
Are you not wanting to tell the full story?
what
of this,
what what are you?
You're missing key details.
Oh, what are the key details?
That the TV fell over.
The TV. I was gonna get to that. I was gonna get to that point. That was the worst moment ever. Sean was gone, and I am now alone trying to figure out how the heck we're gonna run this place and how we were already running out of beer and everything, whatever. And basically, long story short, the screen fell because it was a windy day and it fell through a forklift.
Whoa.
And it was a very dramatic scene. I mean, it literally it was like, one of those moments where you're like, I actually think I might move back to Austin. I think this has been so fun, but I'm out of here. And so I went to my house. I got my brand new TV that I had just gotten. I put it in the car, and we just bought other TVs, and that's what people were watching TV on for the rest of the day. And it was just the first moment that I really realized what I had gotten myself into. And luckily, Sean calmed down a few hours later, and we were able to eventually buy a big screen, and we have not had that issue since.
And now they're properly secured.
Yes.
And now they're all you're completely 100% safe at the tailgate.
What was the moment, I guess, or how much time elapsed over opening the venue to where you guys were like, less panic attacks and more like, oh, okay, like this is going to work? Like how long was that?
I don't know if we're there.
Probably in a year from now.
Or hopefully
Okay.
5 years from now. I think that's been the thing. Obviously it's great how far we've come, and it's, we can obviously see that this thing, has seen success, but I do feel like we try to change every day. I mean, there's something that we are trying to improve on every single day. There's not a day I wake up that I don't want, to be better. And I think that's the same for Sean and JD. And I feel like that's why we work so well together. But, it's always something different. I think that's basically the main misconception, I feel like, is, wow, there's thousands of people coming to this event, obviously successful, but I don't think we feel like that. I feel like we
we've got the hang of it at this point.
We definitely know the drill. Our staff knows the drill.
Too.
We kind of have been able to implement different structures. We've gotten more organized. We've gotten to, really see what matters to us and what, how to get from point A to point B. But I mean, I think if you look, at our track record, I think every time you come to the tailgate, there's going to be something different. Mm-hmm. And the reason that is because we are after every single event, our team sits down and says what went well and what went bad. Right. And the first things that we fix, we are just always trying to improve. So, I would say, I think we've got it down a little bit, but I think we have a long way to go still. And I think it's just, an everyday conversation that we have. How do we, something about concerts specifically, right? We're one of the very few concert venues in Midland, Odessa. And I used to be a musician, and so I have kind of seen the other side of things, right? And so for me, I love music, and I've always loved music, and from time to time I will jump on stage and sing a song or two. But I think part of that has been, hey, look, like it really matters how we're treating the artist, right? Like people remember that. And another thing is as someone that attends a lot of concerts, there's been some music venues that I've gone to where I was like, wow, their staff was amazing. Or wow, even though I had to wait 30 minutes in line, when I got to the front, she was so nice and, made sure my drink was right and everything. And then there's been other times where I've attended different music venues and I was like, gosh, I got up there and she was rude or, whatever it was. And I think people remember how they're treated at your venue specifically. And so for us, that's something that we really wanted to focus on. And we said, hey, how can we make our concert venue better in all areas? So this past year, we partnered with Raising Cane's. Something that's not talked about, or let me rephrase that. Something that was important to us is the drunk driving. We are a bar. We have multiple bars within our music venue. We know people are enjoying their time, but we want it to stay just as them enjoying their time and not getting in the car and driving, right? And so, obviously, we want to make money and we're in the business to make money, but we do care about the people that are coming to our concerts, and we definitely don't want them to get in the car and drive and hurt someone else or hurt themselves, right? And so ways that we've tried to pivot on that is Raising Cane's. They are on site. So, a lot of people after a concert, you're hungry. They go to Raising Cane's or Whataburger. So Raising Cane's is on site. You can upgrade your concert ticket for $10 and you get Raising Cane's 3-finger combo on the way out.
Nice.
So that was something. 2, we'll pay for every single Uber that leaves the tailgate. If they come up to us, and one on our staff knows, they come up and say they need an Uber, we don't ask any questions. We will not tow their car overnight, and we want them to leave their car and get an Uber, and we will pay for the Uber. So that was something that was really, important to us. And another partnership we made this year was Liquid Death. They pay for the water that designated drivers are drinking in our venue. So if someone comes to the front and says, hey, I'm a designated driver, we give them a separate wristband and they get free Liquid Death the entire time they're there. So, we definitely want that to be something that we implement every year. And we just want to come up with different ways where, our customers are coming, they're enjoying their time. They feel like, safe, and that they can leave their car, and if they decide to have too much to drink, I know it happens sometimes, that they're still their car's going to be there in the morning and they'll be safe at home. So that's something that is for sure important to us. But just trying to think of different ways. We tell our staff to, you guys, it can't be just Sean and I, right? We're there at every single concert. We talk to everyone. We're involved, but a lot of it has to do with our staff, like these people are going to remember how you treated them, right? And so that's something too, where we have that conversation with our staff and say, hey, look, like when we're hiring them, we say it's really important how you treat other people because it's a direct reflection on us, right? So if someone has an issue, right, come get me or come get the managers that we have, or, figure out how we can fix it in that moment, because we don't want people to leave upset and then they're not going to come back. And here's the thing, we have 35 to 45 concerts a year and we have events every weekend. So we need these people wanting to come back and we want them to be excited to come back. And sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we make the wrong drink or, whatever it is, but there's ways for us to fix it. And I think that, even if we have an upset customer or something like that, if we fix it in the moment and we say, hey, I'm so sorry, let me cover this drink for you, or let me upgrade your ticket, or, how can I make this better? If we fix it in the moment, we've just seen that, work so much better than them getting on Google and we figure out that way, and then it's harder to fix, right? And so I think that's also been something that we've learned along the way, is showing our staff like really what's important to us, right? Like, we want the drinks to go out quick. We don't want people to wait in line for a long drink, but sometimes it's inevitable when we have thousands of people in there, right? So I think it makes the difference if you're waiting in line for 30 minutes and then you get to someone that's super nice and make sure your drink is right versus, just someone that doesn't care. So I think overall, we've tried to figure out as a customer, like, let's just try to pretend we're a customer walking through. What would we think of this? How would we feel in this moment? How can we make it better here? And that's helped us a lot too.
It's commendable that you're that sort of dialed in with these intricate parts of the customer service, because, my brain would go to, we don't go to as many concerts as we used to, but you kind of expect, well, I'm going to have to wait for a drink. The bar's going to be packed. It is what it is.
There's going to be lines.
But a lot of times it's going to be like, I'm here for the show. Right. You know what I mean? But it's commendable that you're like, but we still want to get that right. We don't want to just make people assume that like you're going to get what you're going to get, and there's going to be long lines and stuff like that. But you still want to over deliver, right? And so that's a great way to run your business as far as I'm concerned. Instead of just going like, sorry, you paid your ticket, we already got your money,
right?
You know what I mean? That type of scenario. Because I mean, well, this is still a small town.
Yeah. So really, we're not just selling a ticket; we're selling an experience.
Yeah.
So it's important to get those things right, because that's what they're going to remember, is how they felt when they were there. And like she said, we need people to come back. Between Midland and Odessa, I don't know exactly how many people, somewhere around 300,000. So the market for concerts really isn't that big. So we really try to focus on keeping our customers happy, so that they will come back and keep supporting us.
Yeah.
So let's talk the future. You guys have been doing this for about 3 years now. What's next? Like what are we looking at? Drop some exclusives on us.
Coming up next month, we have our Christmas event. So it'll run all the entire month of December 5th through 29th. It's called A Cowboy Christmas. And we're really excited about it. I think, a huge part of people saying there's nothing to do in Midland, there's not a whole lot you can do with your family during Christmas. And, a lot of people travel to other cities to do things that are Christmas related. And, we wanted to make something for families to do here. So it's a completely family friendly event. And, we try to make it as cool as possible, so people are excited to go. And our staff has been working really hard on, building this thing out, and they've had crazy ideas, and a lot of these arts and crafts projects are their doing and their ideas. So it's gonna be really cool to see everything come together. We'll have different events. We'll have dueling pianos. We'll have the Huser brothers are coming out for a concert. The last weekend we'll have an ice skating rink. I mean, we'll have a lot going on, a lot of different activities for people to do, s'mores, cookie decorating kits. We'll have Cowboy Santa there, Christmas carolers. And then the main focal point is a huge light show that we put a lot of time and effort into. Sean's put a lot of time and effort into. And so, we'll have a light show that goes off every hour. And that's, coordinates with the music and everything. So I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's something that Midland needed. And so that's next up coming. And then, we've already started planning our concerts for next year. So Shane Smith is coming in March. Ty Myers is coming. We've got a lot of different artists that we haven't ever had before that we've just booked for next year. So yeah, I think that's the main, next year we'll operate as is. And we're working on a new venue right now. And I think it'll be so much bigger and better. And I think we'll be able to, the goal is for us to pick up what we're doing now and transition it into something cooler and bigger and better. And, kind of fix all of the mistakes of us being an outdoor venue. And I think it'll turn into something really cool. And so, yeah, it's mostly been Sean's project on that. We kind of try to, so many things going on at one time.
Sure.
So it's basically, I handle a lot of the day-to-day stuff, and Sean handles a lot of the new project. We have our amazing venue manager, Kaylina. She helps us with the nitty-gritty day-to-day stuff, detail. She's super detail oriented, and so she's helped us along the way, and we want to bring her with us whenever we move. And I think we just want to bring our whole staff. Honestly, I think that's been the cool part, especially since we're only open on the weekends. All of our other everyone on our staff works other jobs or they're in school, and so I think just the fact that they're excited about our new project and they want to move with us, and they feel like they have a place with us, I think that's been cool to see too. So our goal is to do what we're doing, but do it better in the new place. So
when is that slated to be ready to go?
We're working on it.
March of 2026.
2026,
Okay.
folks. So
I'll be here before you know it.
I think we're gonna blink.
We hope you'll
it's
come
gonna be
back
there.
before then to announce the new
Yeah.
location
Absolutely.
and tell us all the details and the excitement there. Maybe there's a podcast studio there. Who knows? Who knows?
I know, that would be awesome. Yeah. No, I think there's definitely a lot more to come. And yeah, I think we'll stay with the, same mindset. We wake up every day working hard, and we want to bring new things to Midland, and I think we'll continue doing just that. So,
well, we're excited. We love all the shows that you're bringing to Midland. Again, when people are like, "There's nothing to do," I'm like, "I don't." Have you been to the Tailgate's website? Or,
come check our website out.
Yeah, they're on Instagram. There's tons of shows.
Yeah.
Who do y'all want to see next year?
Listen, Ariel and I have had these conversations numerous times. We're actually going to Austin in April.
Okay.
We booked Rufus the Soul tickets.
Oh, nice.
We're in that more of that like techno scene, electronic music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think the one thing about an outdoor venue is it's slated for music festivals, right? The music festivals have that down. It's all outdoor venues for the most part, right? So, we'd love to see some, maybe not 3-day events anymore. That's a little too old for 3-day music festivals, but that's sort of I think our sense of like the Lane 8s, Rufus the Souls. I can probably name off 50 different electronic artists.
Mm-hmm.
But we always start to go to like, maybe that's not for West Texas, but then I see you guys bring in like a Rick Ross and I'm going like, okay, well, you're proving us wrong here. So
yeah,
I'm shocked you didn't want to go to that one.
it's always,
So it was a Saturday.
it's always a Saturday, which is difficult for us. And then I look at the post event videos and realize that I'm about 25 years too old from the crowd that's there. And I'm just like, I'm exhausted watching it, but at the same time I see you guys having a great time. And I'm like, another one that I've missed. But
I know you got to come out.
I know we'll make it happen. I'm just going like, man, those basin brunches. I'm like, that's,
I think that's our same reaction.
yeah, that's Vegas Ryan 20 years ago.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the general phrase that we like to say at Basin Brunch is, if you see me, no you didn't, and don't talk to me. don't need anything that day from me. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's just it is a full production on those days.
I bet.
But I mean,
really cool shows though.
Really cool shows.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had someone proposed at the last Basin Brunch, and we've had country concerts that people have been proposing at. Sometimes they get the artists involved, which is super cool. We had a wedding one time at the Tailgate. So we've had a lot of different types of events.
Terra, get your boy from Yellowstone. What's his name?
Ryan Bingham?
Ryan Bingham. There you go.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, I'd love to have him.
Yeah.
We've been trying on.
Are there some artists that they were just like, we just, you don't have to name them by any means. They were just like, we just can't get for whatever reason. They're just like, no, they're too expensive.
DJ Pauly.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? And so for us, hey, well, yeah, we'd love to have these bigger artists, but one, does it make sense for us on a financial standpoint? A lot of these artists are really expensive.
Yeah.
So can we sell enough tickets to make our money back? And sponsorships, that's been a huge thing for us. And honestly, that's how we've gotten to the point that we're at now is we've had some incredible sponsors that have had faith in us, just as people, that we were nothing. We didn't have a stage. And these people were like, hey, you know what? I think you can do it. And
I will definitely say that there's been a lot of people in this community that have helped us out. This was no easy task, and we couldn't have done it without several people in this town.
Yes. Yeah. And that's been, a huge factor. I think people are like, how'd you get, the stage? We did not, we didn't come from families with a ton of money. We didn't have this, huge budget to spend. And I think that's a huge part of it was, how do we afford this? How do we get here? And so, sponsors and people that believed in us and just, said, hey, I'll pay for the stage if I get my
my name
sign on the stage. And we said, okay, deal. It could be a table at every concert you want to come to. And, we've been able to put other signs out there, and we realized, okay, wait, maybe this is how we can, pay for things. And then Sean, JD, and I competed in the Midland Entrepreneur Challenge. So cool that Midland does something like that. Basically, the city of Midland allocates $500,000 to local businesses, but you have to compete for it, right? And so a lot of companies, and it takes, it's a time requirement. And so we attended all of the seminars, and we were able to dwindle it down, and we won $100,000 from that, and that helped us build the next section of our venue. And so really, we've been able to make it work with just a little bit of money, and we were able to get other companies involved that helped us along the way. So that's definitely been a huge part in how we've gotten to where we are now. And just the awesome part too is our sponsors not only believed in us then, but they still believe in us now, and they're coming to all the concerts, and they enjoy it, and they bring their families, and they bring their friends. And that's the part that's so cool, is we don't have these sponsors that they just have their sign out and they don't come out. But no, they're there, and they're present, and they're excited, and I think they help us promote our events, and I think that's helped us too. Even our staff sharing the posts and being excited about the concerts that we have coming up. I think that's helped us too, just building it out. But I think I lost my train of thought on what we were even talking about. What was the question?
We need more sponsors.
Just all the help. Yeah. The teamwork and sort of like the community coming together, sort of help you guys out. And that's the beauty about Midland, right? It's like
definitely
super generous folks out there and super generous businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, we love the Tailgate. We love what you guys are doing. We love entrepreneurship and sort of the spirit of this area of the country in itself. So we hope to have you guys back on later on when you're building out the new venue. So again, if you're looking for something to do with your families for Christmas here in Midland, once again, what are we calling this?
We're calling it a Cowboy Christmas. Actually, this is the first time it was my idea, not Sean's idea.
Oh.
Well, say that.
So Ariel's Cowboy Christmas.
A Cowboy Christmas. Our venue will be completely decked out, a winter wonderlands, cowboy themes. We'll have ice skating rink. We'll have dueling pianos. We'll have concerts, Christmas carolers. We'll have the Christmas characters walking out. We have a giant keg tree that Sean built. We have a huge cactus tree, and we'll have a gingerbread house.
Cute.
A bunch of photo ops. So we'll have Cowboy Santa out there as well.
Do people need to buy tickets, or they just kind of show up?
They will need to buy tickets.
Okay.
They're going on sale next week. And we're honestly super excited about this. I love Christmas, and I feel like, it's just a time for everyone's families to come together, and, I think it'll be special, and we want this to be something that's a staple for years to come. We want people to, bring their families out and enjoy that time with them. So definitely something to be excited for us.
Nice.
Excellent. So we'll drop the link in the description below.
Okay.
Buy your tickets, bring the whole family for Christmas at the Tailgate. And listen, if you're some entrepreneurs and you're looking to build your own venue, you want to learn from successful people, I'm not going to put their phone numbers or anything like that, but reach out to Ariel and Sean and get some tips on, building a successful business like they have. And
Thanks.
we wish you the best of luck in scaling this thing out, and let us know how we can help in the future.
Thank you so much.
you.
No,
Yeah.
thanks.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks
With
for
that,
having us.
We'll see you on the next one. Bye.